What is up, everybody? Hope everyone out there is doing well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I'm your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner in crime, the lovely and talented Miss Tiffany. What's up, man?
Hey, hey, hey. I'm excited to be here and hang out.
I am too. I am super, super stoked about this episode tonight. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, just letting everyone out there know. We don't do a whole lot of these, but we have certainly done them in the past. The gentleman that we have on tonight, Mark, um, he lives in a kind of a remote area. His Wi-Fi is hit or miss, if I'm understanding it correctly. So tonight we're doing a telephone interview. So I will be the only one that can communicate with Mark. He won't be able to see any of the comments. Tiffany won't be able to ask him any questions. So anything that you guys have is going to have to go through me, and we won't be able to see him, obviously. But yeah, it should work out. We just got off the phone with Mark. The connection is good. Should be able to hear him well and everything. The only thing is you won't be able to physically look at him, and everything will have to go through me. So,
but I'm gonna be in the chat, y'all. We're gonna make it hype in the chat.
Yeah, Tiffany will be doing her regular stuff, keeping up with the chat and the questions and
all that good
stuff. Mm-hmm. To be honest, what he's talking about tonight is brand new to me, and it sounds freaking phenomenal.
And I feel, not to step on you, I am so sorry.
Good.
I was cleaning up my inbox, and I ran across his email, and he had sent Wayne and I an email April 1st. Y'all, when I emailed him back, it was like 2 weeks later. That is so not like me. I am like Johnny on the spot. I get an email and I answer an email. That's it. So
yeah, and I missed it too. I don't know what happened with that. We both had a brain fart same day.
It was April Fools. April Fools. We're just
April Fools.
We're gonna get your email, but we ain't gonna answer you.
But seriously, guys, I am so happy that we were able to get a hold of him, because this documentary looks cool as hell. I was not familiar with this story. We have a trailer that we're going to be showing before we bring him out. We will show you guys the trailer, and yeah, it looks like a really good movie. We will let him talk about where you guys can find it, because it's out now. You can stream it now. He told us a couple places. I think Amazon is one of the places.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll let him talk a little bit more about that.
And this is actually an hour and a half from me in Weyburn, Virginia. So it's an hour and 32 minutes to be exact from me. So very cool, very cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. You gonna go pay it a visit?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I could. It ain't that far. I'll go out looking for Bigfoot and Weyburn. Sounds like a place that would have Bigfoot.
Yeah. Anything new or exciting happening with you, ma'am?
No, I've just been busy scrubbing clothes today. That's all.
Scrubbing clothes?
Scrubbing clothes. Well, taking them to be scrubbed in my washing machine. I was like getting in here, and Wayne threw a hissy fit.
Do we have Brian in here?
We do. He's been in here for a little bit.
What's up, Brian? Love you, buddy.
Yep.
All right, what was I throwing a hissy fit about?
Because I was late coming in here.
Hey, where the hell are you?
I was getting the rest of the clothes out of the dryer. I was like, I'm coming. I'm just gonna be a little bit later.
Yeah.
It was funny. But no, really, that's nothing new going on here.
Brian had to fix his dryer.
Ooh. Normally it's the heating element that goes out in them, and it sucks. But I'm going to tell you what. You want a good washing machine and dryer? Okay, well, dryer. My mother-in-law bought me and Zach I think it's a Maytag. I don't know. Me and Zach's been married for almost 26 years. Next year will be 26 years. And we have had that washing or the dryer the whole time we've been married.
Hell yeah.
On wood. Watch it go out. Shut up. Don't even say that.
The belt broke. Yeah, Brian and I recorded an episode of that Bigfoot podcast Sunday, and he talked about his dryer going out, and he had a repairman coming. I guess he jumped the gun, didn't want to wait on the repairman, and just got it done himself.
Hey, that's the cheapest way to do it. Go out to Home Depot or Lowe's, get your belt. All it is, you got to unscrew a bunch of screws.
Yeah, is that it? Just
Yeah,
unscrew
just
a bunch
pull
of screws,
everything off
and
the
it just
back, and
fixed.
then
It's just fixed then, right, Tiffany?
just make sure you unplug it first, because if not, you'll die.
All right, let's we've been yapping too much. Let's pay some bills so we can get Mr. Mark out here.
Okay.
All right, guys, if you're new to the show tonight, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Before you leave, do us a solid. Hit that subscribe button. Tell your mom and them. Help us to grow the show.
Yeah, for real, tell your mom and them, because we are almost at 3,000 subscribers. Please tell your mom and them. Also, tell your mom and them if they want to come on with us. We only have 2 days left in May. To reach out to Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. Would love to have you on. We have 2 Tuesdays left in May. So reach out to one of the two of us.
ParanormalWorldProductions.com is our website. Head over there. Check out all of the shows under the studio's umbrella. Pick you up some merch. Sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter. That's pretty cool, I hear. Yeah, all of that amazing stuff. We would love to have you check that out over at ParanormalWorldProductions.com.
And even though we are doing a different kind of interview where everything is through Wayne, I can still see your questions. We can still put them up, and we do the rapid fire Q&A like we always do every week. If you put them in all capital letters, I can see them and highlight them quicker. Please.
Absolutely. Minimalresearch.org is my or the website for the organization that I founded in 2019. Miss Chris Blaylock is the administrator over there. She built the website. She handles everything. She does an amazing job. So thank you, ma'am. If anyone out there is having activity or believed activity on their property that needs someone to come out and check it out, we would love to be the ones that you trust to do that. If you would like to become a member and be involved in going out and doing these investigations, we would love to talk to you about that as well. Head over there, pick you up some merch, all of that amazing stuff at minimalresearch.org.
And we would love to have you become a channel member with Wayne and I. It's only $1.99 a month. We just picked up a couple new members this past week. So they all have their Discord links. You get the members only Discord. We do members only lives. We're going to do a meetup this summer in Gatlinburg. There's just so many different things that you can be a part of once you join that channel membership. And a lot of people are like, well, where's my money going? Everything you're seeing here costs money. Extra little things that we could do for the show to make it better for you guys. The $1.99 goes to help that. We don't have any extra tiers. It's just a straight $1.99. And you get all kinds of cool stuff.
Yes, you do. And it is certainly appreciated.
Yes.
And lastly, before we get to Mark, that is waiting patiently for my phone call, you guys see at the bottom of the screen the ticker there. Our Cash App is open. It should be $20 a month, Wayne and Tiffany. There you go. Thank you very much, Brian. But at the bottom, you guys notice the Cash App and the Venmo are open. That's just something else that we offer you guys. You guys have always been awesome at hitting us with super stickers. The only thing is YouTube they really like taking their fees. I understand that. No one's a business to break even. We're all in business to make money. So YouTube makes money. But to be honest, we need it more than they do. So they take 30 to 40% out of everything. Mm-hmm. So what we have been offering you guys an opportunity to help us with the Venmo or the Cash App. It comes straight to us. There are nowhere near the fees, and we don't have to wait a month to get it like YouTube makes you wait. So
Somebody just paid. It said ding. And
Yeah,
if you're
did you hear
watching this,
that?
right? I say
Miss
it
Chris
every week.
Blaylock just sent us $50.
Oh, Chris, thank you.
Love you so much, ma'am. You are amazing. So yeah, follow Chris's lead. It don't have to be $50 if you can't swing that. Just whatever you can do helps. Everything costs money, and we certainly appreciate it.
What link?
Brian's asking for the link. It's down there at the bottom, the ticker right there. You got my Cash App and my Venmo at the bottom there. We don't have a link or anything, but if you got a Cash App or a Venmo and hit that, then there it is. And Alex says best $1.99 ever spent, and we agree with you, buddy.
And Sprite, I ask you every week, look, I display your drink every time I'm on the show. Please sponsor us.
Yeah. Become a sponsor, Sprite. That would be amazing.
Yes.
All right. All of that up out the way. We are ready to get to our guest. Again, Tiffany, tell everybody about the documentary. What's the name of it and all of that good stuff. Tell us a little bit about what to expect.
I'm sorry. I was supposed to be prepared for this, and I was not. I ain't even going to lie. I had everything put up, and then I set my phone down. The gentleman's name, and he's the director of it, and he sounds like an awesome guy. It is, and this is the coolest thing. So the summary of the documentary, it's called The Town That Cried Bigfoot. In the bitter winter of 1978, 4 desperate council members from a small Virginia town hatched a daring Bigfoot hoax to save it from the brink of bankruptcy. But as the money grew, so did the greed, triggering the town's first unsolved murder. So then it goes down to, well, it's not on this page. Dang nabbit. It was a cool little side quote that I had found before. Remember, Wayne? Oh,
yeah, I don't
hoax. Yeah, the tagline, a hoax to save a town, a murder to bury the truth.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, what? And it really does look really good.
It does. We're going to go ahead and give Mark a call because we're like 14 minutes in. And as soon as we get Mark on, we'll talk a little bit, and then we will play the trailer, and then we will get into the meat and potatoes. So y'all are going to hear the phone ringing, and then hopefully he'll answer.
Hello,
Mark. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Wayne. How you doing?
Doing very, very well. Sorry to keep you on hold for so long. Went a little bit longer than we were expecting, but thank you so much for hanging out with us, buddy.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, well, Mark, before we jump in to talking to you everything, we want to play the trailer. So you should be able to hear it, and everyone that's watching live will be able to watch it. So we're going to go ahead and play that now, okay?
Alrighty.
All right. Here we go.
Weyburn Sheriff's Office.
I got a dead cow in my creek, and there's blood all over the side of my damn house.
1311, come in.
These footprints ain't human.
Tonight, another body was discovered in the small town of Weyburn, Virginia, as local residents terrified.
For a while there, Weyburn was a great place to grow up. It was the late 70s. Times were much simpler back then. That was about up until old Danny Shiflett came to town. Danny was a new hotshot mayor from Richmond. He was basically looking to climb his way up the political ladder and looking for some low-hanging fruit to do it. And apparently, I guess, Weyburn was his low-hanging fruit of choice. Mayor Shiflett and Sheriff Pruitt met in secret with 2 other men. Lonnie Hutchins, the town mechanic, and Lester Clemens, the town attorney. The 4 of them came up with probably the biggest hoax ever pulled in the state of Virginia. That was pretty much the beginning of the end for the town of Weyburn.
Last night, 2 men ran into the Weyburn Sheriff's Office, claiming they were terrorized out at their family's farm by a Bigfoot.
And one of them kept on praying. And he said, after all I went through on this earth, why should I have to see something like this?
All right. Yeah, Mark, that looks really, really cool, man. I think you did an amazing job on that, especially going by the trailer.
Well, thank you.
All right, Mark, let's go. The first question I always ask everyone is what got them interested in this subject of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, cryptids in general. Can you start from the beginning, bud?
Yeah. Well, I'm old. I mean, I'm 55, so I grew up in the 70s. And for me, the grandfather of all Bigfoot documentaries was the Leonard Nimoy In Search Of back in the day.
Yeah.
When that came on, we were like, oh, and then I don't know. That came out in 77, I believe. And then, you fast forward to the $6 Million Man, I think maybe 2 years later, he's fighting a Bigfoot on TV. And that was, that hooked me. So it's been, and ironically, I state all this, this is all stated in the movie as well, that how popular Bigfoot was back then. But it's amazing now that, you're at a traffic light and there's a Ford F-150 with a Bigfoot sticker on the back, says I believe, or hide and seek world champion. It's just amazing how long, even I know people that don't even believe in Bigfoot, but they got the sticker, they got the T-shirt, so it's a cultural phenomenon. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's kind of like rap music in the 80s. They're like, oh, it's a fad. It'll be out of here in 5 years. Stayed. Bigfoot has staying power.
Yeah, like the internet.
Yeah.
It's just a fad.
Yeah. Well, here's what's funny. I worked at Best Buy I started at part-time in 1997, worked my way up to a manager for a while there. But I was in the store when Netflix first approached. This is before Netflix had the internet where you could go online and watch. It was all about, you had to mail in. You went to the internet and they would send you a DVD and they'd send you 3. And then as you sent them back, you would get your next one. And I remember I'm like, this isn't going to work. Who's going to want to do this? And look how wrong I was. But anyway.
If you could have bought stock back then.
Oh, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So Mark, are you from the town that all of this happened?
No, I'm from Virginia. I grew up in Virginia. I spent a lot of summers in Roanoke, which is, Weyburn was sandwiched between Roanoke and Staunton, Virginia, which is a little bit north. I explained that. That's explained in the documentary.
Well, I don't know, Mark, if you can see us right now, but Tiffany just said that's where I live. She lives in Roanoke.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Star Mountain. I guarantee she's been up there a bunch of times as a kid.
A gazillion.
Nodding her head yes right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I knew about Star Mountain. But yeah, I mean, I used to spend summers in Chapel Hill, North Carolina with my grandparents. They owned a tobacco farm back in the day. And so all that whole area and Bigfoot, it's part of the Appalachian. I mean, you always heard stories,
right.
Besides TV, but yes, I grew up in Virginia.
Okay. So you remember when all of this, as far as your documentary, when all this was going on, right?
No, I don't. I was too worried about girls. I wasn't really paying attention.
There you go.
So, yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens. That is what happens.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't watching the news.
So everything in this documentary is true, right?
Well, I mean, it's what I've dug up and what I've pieced together. That's the story I presented. So that's all I can really say about it. And what the footage you haven't seen the movie, correct?
No, I have not. No.
Yeah. So, there's every piece of footage you see in there, every reaction, every eyewitness account. That's what's different between this and other Bigfoot documentaries. This is actual news footage. There's
Really?
nobody. Yeah, it's all real news footage. I mean, I didn't hit record on a camera at all for any of this. This is all from the moment it starts, just like the trailer, to the moment it ends, to the last 10 seconds. You were in 1978 to 1980 the entire time.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah,
so
and
cool.
yeah, a lot of people that have seen it, it turns into Where's Waldo for them, because they're like, they're like, oh, that's a car I had in high school. My grandfather had that pickup truck. It's kind of, it's a really cool, just from the nostalgia piece, going back in time. Yeah, you see a lot of stuff that brings back memories.
So, without giving away, like spoiler, telling everybody, the ending and all of that good
Right.
stuff, tell us what it's about. What happened in this? Because I was clueless going into this.
So basically, Weyburn, Virginia was a small lumber mill town. And they were doing okay for a while. They were, the number one, either people were farmers or they worked at the lumber mill, or sometimes they did both. They were farmers and they drove the lumber mill trucks on the weekends or whatever to make, extra cash. And the sheriff at the time, his cousin was a young mayor in Richmond, Virginia. And he wasn't doing so well. He was trying to climb up the political ladder. He was trying to become governor of Virginia, and it just wasn't working out. Too much competition in Richmond. He wasn't he wasn't doing very well. And so the sheriff from Weyburn calls him and says, "Hey, Danny, why don't you come out here to Weyburn? Big fish, small pond. I guarantee my vote carries a lot of weight. I've been sheriff in this town for 6 years. We get you in here." And then it's obvious, it's clearly an advantage for the sheriff because it's his younger brother or a younger cousin. And not only is he family, he's also older, and it makes the sheriff's job a lot easier. So he brings Danny in, and one of the things Danny tries to do that backfires is to come in and get the town really on his side and support. Is he tries to flip the lumber mill that's been in that town, the Shelby Lumber Company. He tries to get them to flip pick up the bigger tax share, so the people can pay less taxes and the Shelby Lumber Mill can pay more. And the lumber mill, Mr. Shelby shut the mill down for 2 weeks, and then at the end of that 2 weeks, it ended up burning down, and they just left. And so now this is all leading up, because you're like, what does it have to do with Bigfoot? Here's where it all kicks off. Now the new mayor is in a new town and they're wiped out. Like, their number one source of income is gone. And so he and the mayor, the town attorney, Lester Owens, and the town mechanic, they all met in Lonnie Hutchins. They met in his barn, and they were trying to figure out what to do. And Lonnie Hutchins, who happened to be a father, he eyed his son's $6 million lunchbox sitting on his workbench, and on the side of it, there's pictures of it. If anybody remembers, there on the side of the $6 million lunchbox, one of them, there's a picture of Steve Austin fighting a Bigfoot, and he says, "What if we bring Bigfoot to Weyburn?" And they're like, "How the hell are we going to do that?" And so basically, they create a Bigfoot hoax to bring in, to get the town to buy into it. And then they start, they got pictures because they waited for the first snowfall. And then they got the news cameras out there, and then it starts to blow up. And they're trying to bring in tourism. And it goes from bad to worse, really. In the span of 2 years, it goes from bad to worse. But that's pretty much the crux of what happens.
Man, that's so interesting. And I want to hear you talk about how it goes from bad to worse. But this is all just a hoax, right? I mean, no one,
every bit of it.
There's no Bigfoot sighting. There's no anything like that.
Well, here's what's interesting, though. So when you see the pictures, of the Bigfoot tracks they took pictures of. Now, back in the 70s, skateboards don't look like they did today.
Right.
They were plastic, and they look like, used to call them the yellow banana. They were really long and thin, and you see the skateboard laying beside this footprint, which is longer than the actual skateboard and wider. So when you see all these prints, the one thing the sheriff, when he went to testify, he's like, look, we laid down 2 sets of tracks, but if you look at all these pictures, some of those aren't ours. And he's like, the Bigfoot howls and all that stuff, that he's like, we never did that, because they knew that most people didn't have portable recorders or cassette recorders back then. Tape decks and everything were around, but not every kid had one, or farmers didn't have them. They had no reason for it, really. So they knew they had to leave tangible things that the next day people could take pictures of. And that's why they did the footprints. So on the stand, the sheriff even testified, like, look at the pictures. Those are ours, but those aren't. And the howls, we never did those, because we didn't know how to pull it off, and B, we didn't know if people would even record it or whatever. We needed stuff to get on the news. And so there was some unexplained events, which is kind of ironic. Kind of like, that's why I named it The Town That Cried Bigfoot, kind of like the boy that cried wolf. Well, he cries wolf twice, and then finally a wolf does come, and nobody believes him. So that was the little twist at the end. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. What if there really was a real Bigfoot walking around while they were faking it to bring in tourism?
Yeah.
Because they did for a little while. They were known as the Bigfoot capital of the East Coast for, I don't know, I think 18 months or something like that.
Because of this?
Yeah. David Letterman made a spoof on it. That's in the movie. You can actually see David Letterman, with the mayor, the guy dressed up looks like the mayor and the sheriff. And he's like, Mayor, isn't this all, your rhetoric's very well rehearsed. There's no such thing as Bigfoot. And then he's like, no, there is. We got him on film. And that was a big spoof David Letterman did about that at the time.
So there were actual legal proceedings and stuff about all of this.
Yeah, it was. The sheriff goes to jail. I don't want to spoil the end of it, but there's a murder that happens.
Oh God, yeah, I got.
Yeah.
I don't want you to ruin it, but damn, I have so many questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's. I'll say this, and I'm just being honest. I would not have made this movie if it was just going to be another Bigfoot movie with drone footage over an empty forest and broad daylight and people trying to make it sound scary. I didn't want to film somebody sitting on their couch for an hour just talking. To me, there's a gazillion of those. So I would have never, I would have never even approached the subject if the footage wasn't there. And that's, like I said, from the moment you hit play to the moment it's over, you were in 1978.
It makes me want to just stop what we're doing right now and go watch it.
Well, I guess I'm doing my job then.
Yeah, you are. Tell everybody where they can find it.
You can go to Amazon, and it's streaming on some other platforms, and it's still being licensed out to some different ones. But I know on Amazon Prime right now, you can rent it or buy it as well.
Amazon Prime. So that's like the main place you can get it.
That's the main place.
How long has it been out, Mark?
Less than right at a month. On March 23rd. Sweet. Yeah, it just came out March 23rd, I believe. I didn't even know it was out till my brother. He's like, hey, I watched it. I'm like, how? And he's like, it's on Amazon. I was like, they didn't even tell me. Yeah.
Okay, so Mark, tell us a little bit about your background. Like, what in the hell got you interested in this giant hairy thing that even made you interested in making a movie like this?
Well, I mean, like I was saying earlier, I grew up in that time where Bigfoot was very, very popular. And I mean, when you were a kid, you had Bigfoot, you had Evel Knievel. We had like these things that were like superheroes in our mind as kids. So Bigfoot, I saw $6 Million Man and all that, but it didn't really dawn on me. I mean, it kind of went away for a little while, and now I'm seeing Bigfoot everywhere. Right. And so that's kind of what made me, hop on the internet, and I just started going down YouTube rabbit holes looking for stuff, and I was like, there's got to be, there's got to be stories, especially where I grew up. I'm at the foot of the Appalachian Mountains, around that area, so I'm like, I know there's got to be something that hasn't been told, and it took like 2 years to gather everything and find everything, but yeah, that was the interest. I mean, it literally was sparked by sitting at a stoplight one day and seeing a guy with an F-150 with the back sticker on, says "I believe in a Bigfoot walking" with a thumbs up, and I was like, that's not going away. Like, why is this still so popular?
Yeah.
That's kind of what made me start to investigate it more.
Yeah, I talked about it before. I saw a damn Bigfoot sticker on a BMW one time.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
everywhere.
I'm in Texas, just above Galveston.
Okay.
And it's called League City, and there's a place called Kima, and it's like this little, it's kind of outdoor amusement. They got like Bubba Gump Shrimp and Landry's restaurant and these Ferris wheels and roller coasters. But outside of one of their bars, they have somebody made it out of a rusted piece of sheet metal. It's literally a 10-foot silhouette of a Bigfoot. And that just kind of, I was like, in Texas, really? But I didn't know this. Texas, I think, is ranked number 3rd or 4th in sightings, which is, I think it's called Jefferson, Texas, which is kind of more towards Arkansas, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah, it's up there. It really is.
Yeah, and I was shocked because I spent the majority of my life in Florida. I had no idea how popular Bigfoot was in Florida.
Yeah, Florida is up there too. And as far as like top ranking.
Yeah, I figured it was going to be all California, Washington State, that whole area. But I was shocked. Texas and Florida were pretty high up there.
Yeah, and when I first got into this, Mark, it was 20. I've always been interested, like you. As a kid, I was always interested. I'm 46 years old. I was always interested, and then 2019 is when I really went gung-ho, when I started my organization, Manmore Research, to get out and start looking at these things. And it was because of podcasts. I started listening to podcasts, and I started hearing people in my area that were having sightings. I'm in Tennessee. I'm in Southeast Tennessee. Yeah. And North Georgia, man, they're covered in sightings. The one place where I believe I had my only visual sighting, and it was through thermal, like 2:00 in the morning, bitter cold, like in the single digits. That was in North Georgia. Yeah. And growing up, I always thought, Pacific Northwest, Washington, California, Oregon, that's where they were. And when I heard that there were sightings in Tennessee and in Georgia and North Carolina, I was hooked, man. I didn't know what to think.
Well, for me, because people ask me, I've done a couple of these podcasts now since the movie's been out, and people ask me all the time, what's the most compelling footage? The most compelling footage that I've seen, hands down, I don't know if you're familiar with it. I believe it's called the Francis Peak, Farmington, Utah footage.
Oh,
where
no, I'm not.
It's a white. Well, it may be named something else on YouTube, but it's the Bigfoot walking up the side of a snow peak, and it's like a knee deep snow. It's done from a spotter's scope, like on a gun. And he's probably, I think, 2 miles away, but you can still see what it is, and you can see this thing is huge. And the rate of speed and the distance it's covering in knee-deep snow at that altitude, and it's going up. Like, I don't know anything else that could do that upright on 2 legs. To me, it's either that's AI or that's a Bigfoot. That's the only two. Because some stuff you can go, that's a black bear. That's a German Shepherd behind a bush. There's a lot of things you can kind of explain away. That one, I was like, that's pretty impressive.
And where was that at again? What location?
It's called, if you look it up on YouTube, I believe it's called the Francis Peak, and it's in Farmington, Utah, I believe.
Utah. Is that Brian, the host of Sasquatch Odyssey? wildly successful, probably top 3 Bigfoot podcast in the world. He is a great friend of mine. I co-host a podcast with him. He's in here tonight, and he is saying that we discussed that one, and I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just a white white snow-capped peak.
There's something going
blue
up
sky
it,
behind
like incredibly fast.
Yeah, like I guess like a 45-degree angle or something like that. But yeah, the rate of speed and the distance it's covering was just like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So for me, that's the piece of footage I would direct if people are like, well, do you believe? I'm like, listen, I'm open to anything, but this one's hard to explain, you know, and Bigfoot kind of fits the answer, you know, or AI, either or. And that's the other aspect of this movie that is really, I wanted to make people think too, is because I know the Bigfoot community, from what I gather, is they get really irritated, and I understand they get irritated with hoaxes and everything, but Bigfoot hoaxes are just as an integral part of the community, because it should make you use more critical thinking, which will help keep Bigfoot research and evidence more authentic by using critical thinking. Like, to put it simple, if you were on trial for your life, you would hope and pray that the jury would use critical thinking. They wouldn't go, well, we got Wayne's footprints outside the garage, so we know he did it. They're like, well, but Wayne lives there, and he walks outside that garage 8 times a day. Of course, it's footprint. You know, you would hope they would analyze a little bit more, and that's what should be done too, because there's a lot of people out there that are creating hoaxes. And I forgot the guy's name. The other podcast told me about it. The guy who sold the Bigfoot suit for $50,000 in a freezer.
God, I was just thinking about him, and I was going to bring him up. The guy, it was in North Georgia.
Yeah. And it's like, and they really had no lawsuit.
Rick Dyer.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they really had no lawsuit because they're like, hey, buyer beware, you know. Like he sold you what, you know, you bought.
Yeah, but, I mean, Rick Dyer, his partner in that whole thing was a cop in North Georgia at the time, and that's where I was working at the time. And my buddy Brian, who's on here tonight, was a police officer in North or in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, when all that was going on. And I couldn't believe it when all that was going on, because I was doing pest control at that time. Yeah. I was running a route in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I heard it come across the radio. Bigfoot's been found. They have a body in North Georgia. I'm like, oh my God, hell yes, thank you, Lord.
Right.
And then they come out to see what they presented. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. But I mean, that's Bigfoot hoaxes, I think, are very important because it creates a more discerning eye and a critical thinking, which you have to have. Because otherwise, honestly, there's so many things I've seen on Bigfoot groups before that, this made me laugh, and I couldn't resist. And I got kicked off a Reddit forum for this post. Somebody there was, you know how you see the trees bent over like in a U shape, kind of like there were these 2, I guess, saplings. They weren't that big, maybe as big as your arm. They were bent over, and there was a boulder sitting on top. And people were like, there's no other explanation. There's no possible way this could be done. And it literally, Wayne, it took me 10 seconds to do a Google search of a bobcat lifting up a boulder. And, you know, the little front loader bobcats, the black and white ones you see on construction sites. I found a picture of a guy literally doing just that, putting a boulder to bend over a tree. And I'm like, would this be the next possible explanation? You know, and it's, and I got banned for.
Of course you did.
I was like, whatever. But I mean, you need a discerning eye. I mean, we do with everything. Put it this way: this time next year, I don't care what news station, CNN, Fox, or whatever you watch. Even if you watch Joe Rogan, this time next year, whatever you're watching on YouTube or on your TV, you're going to really have to. Is that really Joe Rogan? Is he really talking to the president? Is he? You know, is that really CNN or Fox News reporter or whoever. But with AI, it's getting so good. I mean, remarkably good, so fast that it's going to be really scary.
Yeah,
And
it's scary right now.
Oh yeah, and it's going to get worse for sure. Where we're just going to, and the sad thing is, we will just start to just accept it. You know, I mean, we're in a weird time now. Like you said, you're what, 46 is what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we're around the same age group. We're in a time now where, at the same time, we believe nothing, but we believe everything. And meaning, we believe nothing because everybody. You know, there's conspiracy theories about everything. You know, there's a conspiracy theory about egg prices, whatever. But at the same time, if we get in the right echo chamber and we hear enough people say what we agree with, then we just buy into that too. It's a weird time, you know.
It really is, and AI scares the shit out of me, man.
Yeah, as an artist, I don't like it. Here's what I want AI for, Wayne. I want AI to cut the grass, take out the garbage, do the dishes. I don't want it to make a movie for me. I don't want it to make an album for me. I don't want it to paint a picture for me. You know, but
you don't know what to trust anymore, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. And especially when sound bites, you can't trust the sound bite, because you can use anything.
Yeah, you look at like TikToks and you'll see a thing of like Jay-Z talking and his mouth is off just a little bit. And you can tell, he's not talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So, Mark, I do want to ask you.
Yeah.
Are you a believer in Bigfoot?
I am not, I can't say I'm a believer or I'm a disbeliever, because I haven't seen one. You know, so there's really nothing but when I see something like that Farmington, Utah footage, I look at something like that and I can only conclude there's two explanations. Either it's AI or it's a real Bigfoot. But I have nothing to make me go, yes, that's a Bigfoot or whatever. Look at the drone footage, like all the drones in New Jersey. You know, I didn't for 1 minute think those were UFOs, because I'm like, the government's not going to, that's us. That's clear. And they came out and said it was us, you know? So, I mean, there's a lot of times there's logical explanations, but that Farmington, Utah, I have no idea what that is. I feel comfortable going, hey, if you want to see some Bigfoot footage, this is the one, but I've never seen one, you know? And I haven't seen enough things around me. I've seen a lot of, like we just discussed, I've seen a lot of things that could be explained away. Let me go back to the Patterson-Gimlin film.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah, the one thing about the Patterson-Gimlin film that, and I believe 100%, is I've heard Hollywood costume designers from that era going, we had nothing like that in Hollywood. The way the muscles move, and the way, and so they can't, even the guys who make that stuff are like, we never saw anything that good, because we would have put it in movies if we did.
Yep.
You know, so that was pretty compelling to hear that. I'm like, oh, that holds weight. That definitely holds weight.
Mark, I've said it, that's like one of my biggest personal arguments is the Patterson-Gimlin film was shot in October 1967, either a couple years before or a couple years after Planet of the Apes was released, and it won the Academy Award for Best Costume. So that was the best that Hollywood could give you in that time
that's a great point. That's a great point.
You cannot tell me that these two broke cowboys in California could do better than Hollywood in that time frame. It's just not possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's because the Planet of the Apes, I mean, I love that as a kid, but you look at it now, it's kind of like I like Star Wars as a kid, but you look at it now, like Mark Hamill, that was some of the worst acting as an adult. I'm like, that's atrocious. but Planet of the Apes, they didn't have muscle tone. They didn't have, I mean, it looked like guys in zip up fursuits.
No. Mark, let me ask you this. What's it going to take to prove the existence of Bigfoot?
I mean, I think, like pretty much anything else, is you're either going to have to find an alive one or a dead one, you know, because then you're going to have real DNA samples. You're going to have real, I mean, I mean, that's kind of how we did it. We've, in my limited experience, that's what we've done with everything else that we can verify. You know, we got bones, we got this, we got that. We have DNA, or we have a live one, or we have a dead one. You know, but I mean, yeah, it's a fun, interesting topic, and I think that's why, even with people who aren't into Bigfoot, it's still fascinating. You know, that's why you see these stickers and T-shirts everywhere, because people are still kind of like, well, we haven't, you know, who knows?
Yeah,
So
and I think without beyond the shadow of a doubt, it's going to take a body. That's what I feel, because, and the reason I asked that is due to the 1967 footage of Patty, the Patterson-Gimlin film. If that wasn't enough, then nothing's going to be enough. Photos and video are not going to be enough. It's going to take a body. And all these groups out there, the Wood Ape Conservancy, the ones that are out there, and their goal is to kill one and bring it in to prove it. A lot of people can't stand that. They hate that. They talk crap about them. I don't really see a problem with it. If killing one can tell us everything we need to know to preserve the rest, what's wrong with that?
yeah, I mean, our government's done that with all kinds of things, where they've taken the public and sprayed stuff and said, hey, we'll see how they react to that, so we can better, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's no, it's interesting, but yeah, it's gonna take something like that, and I believe it's gonna take a UFO to land and or blow up a set or something, like from Independence Day. UFOs, you know, something's going to have to happen. But I mean, with that too, hearing those Navy pilots, those Air Force pilots, you know, going, what in the hell is that thing? You know, and they're trying to track it, and it's faster than them and changing directions. That's pretty compelling stuff too. But I mean, yeah,
and that gives me hope. That gives me hope. The government has recently come out and pretty much admitted that there are things that we don't know about that are out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, what's it going to take for them to come out and do the same thing with Bigfoot?
Well, here's the other aspect too. Like ChatGPT and AI, you know, you can go on, you can create pictures or little movies or whatever. And that stuff is free to the public. Think of how advanced that technology is. So that's free to the public. Imagine what they have that we don't even know about. Like, that's what I think. Like, there's stuff behind the curtain you and I don't even know about that's being used. And like right now, they're like, hey, let's give it out to the public so they can train it, so it can talk in real time. Any of your viewers, you want to do something crazy? Go to ChatGPT, just hit try for free, and then type this in. Pick any of your favorite comedians. I did ChatGPT, tell a Bigfoot joke in the style of Dave Chappelle, and it sounded like I could totally hear Dave Chappelle, and it was funny, and it did it like in 5 seconds. That's crazy. Like, people think, you know, that kind of stuff is just for mathematics or whatever, but it's getting more and more advanced. So you kind of wonder, you wonder what we don't have access to that they do.
I know it, man.
Yeah. So, and not to get off topic, but anyway, the AI stuff and the hoax, and it's but that Farmington, Utah footage blew me away.
Yeah. So you're in Texas, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you hear a lot of activity and stuff in your area?
No, not. I see a lot of stickers and T-shirts and wooden cutouts, but no, I haven't bumped into anybody, or at the gym, nobody's going, hey, you know, there's a Bigfoot yesterday over there on 448, or whatever.
Yeah.
No.
So what's your background, Mark? What do you do, and what got you into this whole movie thing?
Well, I was in the Coast Guard in the 90s. I got out. I worked in retail as a manager for Best Buy for like 15 years and was like, this is not it. And then I got into music production. And then from there, right around 2010, 2010, I think it was, when Canon released the Canon 5D camera that actually looked like film. I was like, oh, this is possible. You can actually make your own film now. You don't need a massive group of people. You don't need expensive, crazy equipment. This $700 camera at the time can do it. So I made my first feature film, The Tormented Lorianne Cullum, in 2013. It won the Best Actress at the Orlando Horror Film Festival.
Hell yeah.
And it was out on Amazon for 10 years. It was everywhere. And now the distribution deal, I got the rights back to it. So now I own it again. I was splitting 50-50 for a while there with it. So now I got it back, and there's some things I'm going to revamp for it. But by day, my day job, I'm a video editor. I work with from IFS, that's a big major corporation, to restaurants, to YouTubers. And that's the cool thing about being a video editor. Every job's different.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So
you followed your dream.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I knew working for somebody else was not it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was not it. But yeah, I will say, you know what? I think I kind of missed my calling. I worked on a farm when I was right before COVID hit or whatever. I was working on a farm, and I got to drive a front loader, and I'm like, I should have been a heavy equipment operator. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give it up, but anyway, yeah. And ironically, those are the guys, like commercial plumbers, roofers. Those are the guys who are going to be safe from all this AI stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because not anybody can do the shit they do.
No, lawyers. I mean, you don't need. You need a contract. Well, you can get online. ChatGPT will make you a contract for free.
Yep.
You don't need that. So
somebody that can make my shitter work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a buddy of mine works for a major company, and they tell him every single day, hey, make sure you're implementing AI in your daily task as much as possible. Like they're literally telling you to train AI to take your job. That's why they're doing that.
Exactly. Oh God, I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
That's a whole new episode, a whole new topic.
Yeah. So I'll say this to all the kids out there, anybody, if you're under 25 or whatever, become a commercial plumber. You don't have to deal with the shit. You're laying brand new stuff. You'll make a boatload of money, and AI is not going to take your job.
Yeah, electricians.
Yeah, electrician. There you go. Yeah.
Carpenters,
Yeah. You'll be safe for at least another 15 years.
All right, we do have a few questions for you from the audience that we want to get to.
All right.
First one is coming from our good buddy Brian from Sasquatch Odyssey. How did you get all that footage?
Deep dive into YouTube. Like, this took me 3 years to make. This was not something I made in a weekend. 3 years of piecing all of it together. So rabbit hole after rabbit hole down YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. All right, next one, Troy Two Fingers from Tennessee. Why was the documentary banned?
Why was the documentary banned? It was banned on actually some Bigfoot groups because they did not want to see hoax stuff, and they're like, we don't need another hoax video. Because I was trying to, I made the trailer, and then I was going to put sections of it, like kind of episodes. I was going to see how it was screening with people, and it immediately got banned. Nobody even gave it a chance.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to hear about it.
Okay. All right. Also from Brian from Sasquatch Odyssey. Mark, is the whole documentary just public footage?
News footage, news archival footage.
News archive. Okay.
Yeah, with real people. Yeah, all 100% real reactions.
Okay. All right, Mark, this is your chance, buddy. Tell everybody anything you want to plug, anything you want to talk about, upcoming projects, where they can find this, just anything you want to plug. Here's your chance.
Well, I just want to think, you guys can Google Weyburn, Virginia Bigfoot, or Weyburn, Virginia. I believe there's the website .org. I want to thank them for helping me, giving me information, and they're selling Weyburn. They got some great T-shirts and mugs and stuff on there. They're pretty funny. Like one I saw was Weyburn, Virginia, misleading Bigfoot fans since 1978. I thought that was awesome. I like
That's
that.
funny.
Yeah, oh yeah. One was, I think they have one that says we didn't know how to fake aliens, so we made up Bigfoot. Yeah, they kind of leaned into it, which I'm like, that's what you got to do, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, WeyburnVirginia.org. But yeah, Google Weyburn, Virginia, Bigfoot. But you can see this movie, The Town That Cried Bigfoot, on Amazon Prime. You can rent it, you can buy it, and it's like I said, with my distribution deal, I'm getting licensed on platforms. It seems like every other day now. So just it's now streaming.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, you have my number, buddy. I have yours. Anything else comes up, holler at me. We would love to have you back to talk about any other, future projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Wayne and Tiffany. I appreciate it.
All right. You enjoy the rest of your evening, buddy, and we will talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. How good was that? That was so much fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a good show.
I forgot what you sounded like, Tiffany.
I know. I gotta like unstick my jaws. I don't keep my mouth shut that often.
Awesome. A lot of cool people that we saw in here. One that I saw in here, I wanted to give a shout out. Where did he go? He came to the second Squatch Out, the Mongolian Monster.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Hold on.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Appreciate you hanging out tonight. First time I've seen you in a long time. He actually made reference of the Squatch Out.
There it is.
Yeah, Mongolian Monster. Appreciate you coming and hanging out, buddy. Maybe we'll talk soon. All right. Cool. Really good stuff. Guys, go check out that website or that movie on Amazon.
It does look really good.
It does look very, very good.
And then talking to him, it really does make you just want to go watch it like right now.
Yeah, it adds so much. It adds so much to it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We ain't heard you talk at all tonight, ma'am.
I know. Like, golly, Ned.
Are you yawning?
I did. Well, I tried to like inhale it back. It didn't work.
All right. Again, thank you, Chris Blaylock, for the $50 Venmo. We love you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And thank you all of y'all for coming in here. I mean, it was a great time in the chat and talking, and now she's got lockjaw. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, we as you guys know, we don't do a whole lot of the telephone interviews, but we do them from time to time when it is necessary. But yeah, we appreciate everything that you guys do. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And come back and see us on Saturday. We're having Steve Searches on 10 p.m. Eastern with his Bigfoot encounter. So that'll be interesting.
Very, very cool. We might try to get a members only before then too.
Absolutely. And just to give you a heads up, well, that's like an early heads up. That's like a month away. I guess I could say it, huh? We're going to be on with D.A. Roberts and Robbie Raines, June 7th at 10 p.m. Sorry, I'm way ahead of myself tonight. See what happens when you don't let me talk? Like so many things pile up.
Yeah, we'll be guesting over there. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much for being respectful to our guests. You always are. Never, ever have to worry about that. And yeah, until we talk to y'all again, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.